Well, here we go for the second time today. Fancy that. Guys, I can't wait to dive back into Janet's hard work. Amazing work. Mind-blowing work. She's gifted us. Like in the palm of our hands. Freaking why the world is the way it is. That's what she gifted us. And she calls it the Cabal. Obviously, many call it many different things. But it's evil in this world, in this life. Do you believe in evil? Do you believe in Satan? Do you believe in the devil? I believe it becomes very clear when you actually see all this information out. And if you're honest with yourself in this world we live in, unbelievable. It has been truly a pinch me moment for far too long. Now, luckily, it seems with Trump and RFK and some of these patriots, we're gaining. I'm having issues with this boomstick. I apologize. But we're gaining momentum in the right areas, and that is very important. Let's not get complacent. Now's the time to double down, triple down, and see more positive results to the benefit of us and our families. So out the gate, I want to say frick the Cabal. Frick evil in this world. Dare I say, we are coming for you? Yeah, we're coming for you. We will not be your slaves. We will not be your lab rats any longer. Well, I sure hope enough of us get on board with that to stop. Well, that was a sharp S. I apologize. To stop all just that they've done. Like, come on. There's actually a pre-image on this episode when you first pull it up, and this is very powerful. It's so true. Janet's proved it. It's validity. Do you know that the exact same playbook was rolled out for the swine flu pandemic in 2009 and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019? Question mark. Do you know that the exact same playbook was rolled out for the both of them? Well, I imagine Janet will rip the lid right off of this and shine the light and bring some understanding to us. Now, I entrust in her and all she's built out, so much so that I don't even know when last I've seen these episodes. It might have been a year or two ago, but it's so crucial and relevant, yes, even today. So without further ado, Janet, we love you. Rest in peace, hon. I'm so grateful for all your hard work, and Cynthia as well. Let's rock, guys. Depopulation agenda in our daily lives, part 4. We promised one more depopulation tool, the final one on our list. But is the list all there is? Let's find out.
When we started making the sequel to The Fall of the Cabal, upon writing the script,
I don't know about you guys, but it's already comforting. It is great to hear her voice.
It all fitted in 17 episodes. But the more we studied, the more we discovered. And as time went by, the world changed before our very eyes. A pandemic, lockdowns, a new normal reshaped societies and the world at large. The old divide and conquer strategy of the Cabal and the rollout of the Protocols of Zion had sped up several notches, making George Orwell's 1984 look pale in comparison to our modern-day world.
Right. Wow.
There's no way all of this will fit in 17 parts. Not with these current developments. How many more episodes will we create? We have absolutely no idea at this point. Let's just keep moving and see where things will lead us, shall we? We'll stick to our motto, no time to waste. Let's continue with number 1 in our depopulation countdown, vaccinations. Remember from part 14, there's one very important sentence regarding the so-called Spanish flu pandemic? Only the vaccinated died. This utterly shocking outcome of this vaccination trial, financed and executed by the Rockefeller Foundation, was the beginning of a massive depopulation program that 1 century later would...
I demand the rest of all the Rothschilds right now. What are we messing around for? Seriously. Don't we have enough information to get state officials, to get police precincts, to get military or National Guard engaged to be like, you know what, we're going to do a full-blown investigation. We're going to seize your assets. And, yeah, the time is now. I guarantee we would find more that would implicate these evildoers that have more so been pulling the strings, just as their freaking mother back in the 1800s stated, there would be no wars if my sons wanted no wars. Come on. Why are we allowing this insane divide? It would be one thing if they, in fact, were philanthropists doing good. But that's not the case. It's a two-tiered system that should land them behind bars for treason, for crimes against humanity, for war crimes, for monopolies, for money laundering. I mean, the list is truly endless to these freaks.
Would become the ultimately perfected weapon to kill off millions of people. There is so much to say about this topic, but we'll try to keep it short. We'll give you 9 did you knows, things we think you should know when it comes to vaccines. Please do your own research and check everything we present to you.
That's so important.
Here we go. Did you know that most diseases had already disappeared due to better hygiene when the various vaccination programs started?
Right. Dude, pause that chart. Introduced. Whooping cough vaccine. Everything had trickled down. Talk about natural immunity. And that's the same thing with the Ebola vaccine. Unbelievable. Did I say it right? Or am I thinking of the wrong one? I believe, yeah. Oh, maybe she'll go over it.
Did you know that babies in the US get 26 injections, 5 at a time, against 14 different diseases?
Unbelievable. It's worse than that. Come on, absorb that. What freaking clown world are we living in? That is not health. That is not protection. I'll take God-given immune system any day. I wish this information had come out. I mean, whatever. What is what is. But I'll state it. I wish my parents knew about this information, because clearly even in my era, Amish didn't get it. Didn't get any. And I had far less than the kids have now. But we could only imagine. Now, obviously don't have the crystal ball. And I don't mean to live in, shoulda, woulda, couldas. But I state it hoping it ramps up the sense of urgency for people to get educated so they don't live in ignorance and just inject their child under the guise of protection. And then their child, 20, 30 years from now, wished their parents knew better. So, put you in the hot seat a little bit.
before they've reached the age of 18.
I mean, I challenge you to pause these charts and actually understand what it's indicating. Because as all these get introduced, that's where more diseases and epidemics with health issues such as diabetes, autism, Alzheimer's, everything ramps up. It's not a coincidence.
They receive 14 more jabs, COVID not included.
That's terrible.
And did you know that of all those vaccination cocktails, no studies were ever performed by the medical establishment on their possible side effects?
No studies. Who in their right mind? So it's just a play on words. The childhood vaccine schedule is in fact protection for your child, that it's good for your child. Now look at how infiltrated these evildoers, the cabal, and effective they have been in infiltrating our Western medical system. Because any pediatric doctor, any family physician, the majority of them stand by and push this because they've just been programmed to support this. They don't legitimately have the evidence to back it up. And if they do resort to the few, let's say, doctored studies where it isn't fully transparent, you could hit them with thousands, literally thousands of others that discredit the one or two they could show you. You can't trump truth with propagandists and lies when we truly have access to all the information and we do our due diligence with having just that.
Not one?
Not one.
Did you know that the number of people with autism grows exponentially each year?
Yeah.
It is estimated that this year more children will be diagnosed with autism than with AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined.
Breaks my
It
heart.
affects 1 in 54 children. The medical establishment strongly rejects a possible connection between autism and vaccinations. But how on earth can you wipe away a case like this?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All 3 triplets became autistic within hours of vaccination. Okay, if you actually, you know what, we'll plug it, Vaxed 1 and 2 in the bottom. I didn't, we keep plugging it. I don't know how many are actually watching it. It would be nice to hear from the UNMUZZLED chat family. Hey, I watched Vaxed 1. These are my thoughts. I watched Vaxed 2. These are my thoughts. That's just in stating that in the comments on these episodes could evoke a response for another parent to actually watch it. But there are thousands of cases of parents reporting their child being having total normal behavior, total eye connection, and then this total deadening, like a flip of a switch from getting the shot, the childhood vaccine, what have yous, and literally, yeah, within hours, it's just doles out. It's heartbreaking.
Every day in our life was a party. Every single day they were holding hands and smiling and laughing and looking at each other, engaging in each other.
Listen to the parents.
On June 25th, 2007, we brought him in for the pneumococcal shot.
So just that shot?
One shot. We went in at 10 a.m. for the shot. By noon, Claire shut completely off. It was as if she was blind and deaf and complete failure to thrive, from super, super happy, smiley girl to, this is a picture of her. She had full-blown eye contact. She was super lovely.
Oh my gosh,
and
precious.
she shut right down. And all she did at that moment was stare at the ceiling fan. So that was at noon. We had the shot at 10 a.m. 2 o'clock, we watched Richie shut off. All the giggles, all the smiles, again, failure to thrive. They lost all their reflexes. They stopped blinking, stopped yawning, stopped coughing, stopped sneezing. So that was 2 o'clock. We watched Richie shut down, and I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
But there we go. The worst is when we saw the final one shut down. Robbie looked like he was hit by a bus. Robbie, from that moment on, had a stunned look on his face. He lost his happiness. This is a first year picture? For his birthday.
3 months after the shot.
3 months after the shot. They were no longer engaged in anything or anyone. They lost their smiles. They just were
it's evil, folks.
in their own little separate worlds. They never held hands again. They never looked at each other again. Vaccine injury is real. We were told it was genetic.
Oh my
And then we were told by geneticists that there's no possible way 3 children would shut off on the same day. That was absolutely statistically impossible, especially being 2 boys and 1 girl. So we were also told we could not sue anyone. We were told we signed for that shot. No doctors could be sued. No vaccine manufacturers could be sued. So we had...
Yeah, freaking right. We get behind them? Are you kidding me? These are war crimes, people. There's no immunity for that. And we can make damn sure of that together. Unbelievable.
Severe autism spectrum disorder for all 3 kids entering kindergarten.
What happened is we woke up one morning and we had 3 happy, healthy 9-month-old children. By that evening, we took them for a vaccination. By that evening, they were autistic. What we said to our pediatrician is, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do any more vaccinations until we know what happened here. What they said is, if you don't continue to do exactly what you did the day your children turned autistic, we're going to fire you from our practice. So
they broke up with us.
They broke up.
They sent us a lovely letter saying we were no longer welcome at their practice because we weren't going to continue well baby checks.
And that is the one decision that we'll never regret.
Right. Wow.
They can argue with families that your child, because it might be a single child, was genetic. They can try and put that back on the family and say somehow your genes are weak. But with us having 2 boys and 1 girl,
triplets,
they lose the argument with us, hands down.
Yeah.
So we are the living proof that they're all lying.
Wow.
Did you know that there is no autism amongst the Amish communities? Their vaccination rates are very low to non-existent. Coincidence?
There you go.
Dr. Frank Noonan, who has been treating Amish children for over 25 years, once said, "You'll find all the other stuff, but we don't find autism.
Cancers,
We're right in the heart of
autism.
Amish country and seeing none,
Wow.
and that's just the way it is." Dr. Dan Olmsted confirmed Noonan's findings. He called this phenomenon the Amish anomaly.
Wow.
Did you know that the
Says it all.
American government has paid $4.5 billion as financial compensation as a result of vaccinations gone wrong? Mind you, not the vaccine producers had to pay for the damage caused. They made sure they are above the law with their non-liability disclosures. The American government paid, meaning the American taxpayer.
Right.
Did
We
you
gotta
know
change
that the
this.
exact same playbook was rolled out in 2009 for the swine flu pandemic and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019? Everything was ready back in 2009,
Break it
from
down.
face masks and quarantine to vaccinations. However, Wolfgang Wodarg, chairman of the Health Committee in the German Parliament and the European Council, spoke up. He showed the world that the big pharma vaccine producers had intentionally spread fear and panic about a relatively mild disease. According to Dr. Wodarg, they had tempted the WHO into defining the swine flu as a pandemic. He branded the H1N1 outbreak as one of the greatest medical scandals of the century.
Good on you.
He said, "We have had a mild flu and a false pandemic."
Wow.
What does that remind you of?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Is this why the COVID pandemic was necessary? Because Dr. Wodarg disrupted their narrative? You might ask yourself, where was Dr. Wodarg in the COVID crisis? Oh, he was there all right. He spoke up time and again, as we've shown you in our COVID documentary.
Wow.
But this time, the Cabal was better
What
prepared
was that?
and
Let's
used their
actually
propaganda
rewind
machine.
real quick. I'm sorry. This is important.
COVID crisis. Oh, he was there all right. He spoke up time and again, as we've shown you in our COVID
documentary.
documentary.
I want to find this COVID documentary.
But this time, the Cabal was better prepared and used their propaganda machine, the mainstream media, to the fullest. The people were brainwashed into believing the narrative more than ever before, and Dr. Wodarg's voice got lost in the endless repetition of the fear-mongering media outlets.
Unbelievable.
He was set aside and shamed as yet another tinfoil hat conspiracy nutter. deranged, and dangerous to our society.
Well, entirely vindicated now.
Did you know that 58% of infant deaths occurred within 3 days of vaccination and 75% within a week?
That is not coincidence. My gosh, let's open up our eyes. Let's inform every parent out there, everyone considering being a parent. What does our job matter? What does our lives matter when we're allowing things like this to perpetually continue? This is far more important than our daily lives. You connect more dots, you see the big picture, you see the synagogue of Satan, you see these evil doers, and they're just mortal minions. And the demonic side flee in the name of Jesus Christ. We have nothing to fear. We could breathe such light into this world, such health, such victory. What is it? What is it that's keeping us from ending this? And so much of the other tactics. Are we just that? Let's ask ourselves, are we just that ignorant? Are we just that self-serving, selfish? Are we just don't care? Are we demoralized? Well, what difference can we make? Evil wins when good men do nothing. That's why we're trying to help create the momentum and actually provide solutions. Please back us. Get behind us. Like the episodes. Share the episodes. Get more people, all your friends on Rumble, and have them follow Unmuzzled Chat and any podcast platform that is in fact challenging these narratives and bringing evil, shining light on evil, bringing both good and evil to light, truth to light.
Now those are the official numbers, meaning the real numbers are probably even higher.
Unbelievable.
Ever heard of the sudden infant death syndrome, also known as cot death or crib death? It is the sudden unexplained death of a child of less than 1 year of age. SIDS usually occurs during sleep. In the US, about 3,400 babies die of SIDS each year. The sad truth is that parents whose baby died of SIDS were often accused of killing their baby by shaking it or by smothering it.
Unbelievable.
Many of those parents ended up in jail. Many were innocent.
Wow. Wow. Evil praying, never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Can you imagine the horror? First, your precious baby dies. Then, you are accused of its death. Any possible connection with the vaccination the baby just received is fervently denied by the authorities.
Wow.
You are sentenced to several years in prison. Your family is destroyed, and you get the blame. God knows how many parents had to go through this hell and never fully recovered from it.
Right. My heart aches for him. Wow.
When you hear what's actually in those vaccines, you will understand that the correlation between SIDS and vaccinations is not based on coincidence,
right,
as the CDC wants us to believe.
Right.
Not only that, it is well known by the authorities and the vaccine producers. Now, if this doesn't make you mad, we don't know what will.
It's well known. Wow, vaccines, sudden infant death. They sweep the real truth under the rug, and they use all that propaganda, the mainstream media, even worse. Because I don't believe it's, the talking heads that are really influencing parents to get, it's almost like we're influencing each other at this point. you see those studies done in these rooms, and they get a certain percentage of the group to do the most ridiculous thing. Now it doesn't even matter. You can pull out the original people you indoctrinated, and it just perpetuates because everyone's doing it, and you don't want to be the odd one out. Plus, it's integrated into our public school educational system in so many activities that, you got to get this. Plus, Western medicine and the indoctrination and pediatrics and all this. I mean, they're incentivized, man. Look at the funders of these universities. It's the same ones that have enslaved us in our country through a fake freaking Federal Reserve currency. It's the fact we're not going pitchforking after these individuals at this point. I don't get it. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's organize it. Let's try to get authorities, presidential figures, whoever we need. No one is above the law. We could ensure that. Frick this two-tiered infrastructure system. Why can they launder money? Why can they do all these things? Like, are you kidding me? They've turned every system against us to put us in a place where we're not unifying. That's where it's just like, really? There's more important, there's bigger victories, more historical, amazing, like glory to be had in this life than what we've been programmed. Yeah, cubicle job, home, new car, new phone. Like, what the frick does that stuff matter? That's the bread in the circus. Now, we could address the tyrannical, and if you enjoy, like, then we can get back to, and do what you do. Enjoy what you enjoy. But with fifth generation warfare tactics, clearly, and they're preying on our freaking children, what do we do? What's wrong with us? Time to wake up. Time to wake up, everyone. Time to rip your muzzle off. Are you afraid to have these conversations with your family members, loved ones? Let them think what they'll think. So be it. And it's not about I told you so, but as you challenge yourself and have more of these discussions, like, sooner or later, wow, a year from now, 5 months from now, a month from now, you might be surprised when your sibling or that other individual tries hitting you with some of the information where you're like, yeah, I know, I like turned you on to that, but you don't need to say any of that. You could just celebrate in your mind, like, oh, really? That's so exciting. And just let's go. What are we waiting for?
So, here we go. Number 9. Did you know that the following adjuvants are used in vaccines? Thimerosal, a mercury-based preservative.
Unbelievable.
For years, pro-vaxxers have been trying to deny the use of mercury in vaccines.
Yeah.
Yet, thimerosal, and thus mercury, is present in the following vaccines.
Wow.
Also, DTaP vaccines are still recommended and administered to pregnant women.
Unbelievable. Are you guys pausing to read that? Infertility damage the unborn child. Autism damage to the organs. Liver disorder, injury to cardiovascular system. I don't know how to say that. Abnormal sensation of tongue, lips, fingers, toes, tremors, loss of side vision, loss of coordination, inability to stand, mental retardation in children, anxiety, mental depression, insomnia, hallucinations, damage to the central nervous system, and coma on a singular substance. This is what's known. And what the frick is that doing in these shots? It's all been infiltrated. Words are supposed to mean something, and they do mean something to the majority of us. They're projecting as health care, health services, protection, protect your child, just all these words, and that means something to us. So we're, okay, enough people say it. But this is where it's kind of like a light bulb moment for me. I don't know about you guys. As you dive into this information, it's just like, why was I so blindly and trusting in everything? Like, I know more about the ingredients in the Cheerios I would feed my child, but I haven't looked into a single ingredient on a single of the 80 vaccines now being administered to our children. Not a single ingredient on a single one of them. And fully understood it. Not to mention blindly and trusting the manufacturers, the delivery systems, the batches themselves. Like, you literally got to be insane. Just, or, that word again. It's like you're, I'm going to have to look it up, but let's continue.
This slide is actually just a summary. This is the official list of risks.
Conditional.
Feel free to pause.
Oh my gosh.
May be fatal if swallowed, inhaled, or in contact with skin. Can anybody please explain to us why we inject this poison into children?
Right. Let me interject. Why is parents' love seemingly conditional? Well, what do you mean regarding the vaccines? Well, once again, so many parents would say they're willing to die for their children. But it's conditional. You don't have the patience, you don't have the time or the energy to actually, wouldn't it be, this is their adolescent stages. They're entirely dependent on you or their parents. Entirely. So it is 110% your responsibility to do what is in their best interest. So for parents that aren't doing full-blown research and also grasping that there's biased and controlled information platforms out there, so you gotta more so source on free speech to obtain all the information. Otherwise, controlled platforms, you only go to a university and speak to all the doctors. You're only getting that narrative. So let's not have conditions to our love. Let's love unconditionally to our adolescent by actually fulfilling what is in their best interest. More so than just running on talking points, not doing our due diligence. I don't know. It's like, I almost threw a crazy analogy out there. I probably really wouldn't compute, but whatever. We'll just keep going. I love you guys. I'm just so passionate on this, especially when it's regarding our children. Let's freaking go. Let's go. Help me do better on the delivery, on the messaging, on everything. It's collectively together. Reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I need more of you to come forward and speak out on this. I'd love to have parents that actually have information and stories to tell. We all could have a greater impact than we all know, especially together.
Then, our second vaccine ingredient, formaldehyde, an embalming fluid.
Wow.
Present in the vaccines against.
What's that doing in there? Risk. Inflammation's terrible. Wow, cancer. Come on. Are we surprised with the epidemic of all these issues now? This is directly correlating it. Just looking at the overall...
The CDC assures the public that the small amounts of formaldehyde in vaccines are safe, but offers no studies to back such a claim. When the entire childhood vaccine schedule is taken into account, a child will have had almost 1,600 micrograms of formaldehyde injected into its body by the age of 6.
By the age of 6.
Why the heck add an embalming fluid to a vaccine? Then, aluminum, yet another heavy metal, used in vaccines against.
Because they're not designed to protect us or help us, folks. Severe neurological.
On day 1 of life,
Oh my
infants
gosh.
received 17 times more aluminum
Think
than
about
would
it.
be allowed if dosed.
Think about it. If you were the Rothschilds and you invested billions in the education systems to help build all this out, you're invested in big pharma. They're getting us early. Severe neurological and autoimmune diseases, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. We have all been diminished to a huge extent. I can only imagine if we could get through this bump right now and bring health back. Wow. Wow, what we could achieve. I'd imagine, I mean, we're talking such wealth we can't even fathom. I imagine they got some things up their sleeve and things would definitely get challenging. But they crossed lines to such an extent that we cannot blindly continue on this path of ignorance. That is clear. Come what may, we must grab our swords, grab our shields, what I know kind of metaphor here, but literally whatever it takes. Let's see the fall of this cabal.
On day 1 of life, infants received 17 times more aluminum than would be allowed if doses were adjusted per body weight,
Wow.
which they are not. At the current time, there are no known or published studies specifically defining levels of aluminum
course.
in any vaccine product based on safety studies of aluminum.
Of course.
According to the FDA's guidelines, 850 micrograms of aluminum is what is deemed safe for an adult. However, the amounts of aluminum a tiny infant receives drastically surpasses the safety levels.
Wow.
Following the current vaccination schedule, an infant gets 1,225 micrograms of aluminum by 2 months of age and 4,925 micrograms by 18 months. Furthermore, a safe level of aluminum has never been established for infants and children.
That page right there, right before your eyes, if that doesn't make you want to drop everything and get engaged, I don't know what to tell the world. Like, I guess we'll just enjoy it burning. It's unbelievable. Let's let that fire us up to take out this cabal. This is just one small
Then, fetal
angle.
tissue. Vaccines must be grown in a substrate, which simply means that it takes living tissue to grow the microscopic vaccine ingredients. For decades, that living tissue has been aborted fetus cells. This is common knowledge, but not many people know that an Italian research study performed by Corvelva showed that the MMRV vaccine, manufactured by GlaxoSmithKline, contained an entire human genome.
What? What?
Now, the maximum limit of fetal DNA in vaccinations is set on 10 nanograms. This MMRV vaccine, however, went 325 times over that limit. This is both insane and outrageous. These so-called fetal cells are only used to grow viruses. Excuse used by vaccine manufacturers has stood.
Guys, I don't have the words. I know I'm not perfect. I know you might even be like, quit interrupting. But I just cannot put enough emphasis as to how crucial this is. I've tried sounding this alarm with people very close to me in my life. Very close. And it wasn't that long ago I saw Band-Aids on those children's arms, and they were talking about how they were really good. They didn't shed a tear. Double shot in this arm, shot in this arm. Gotta stop this. We gotta do everything. Why are we fearful? I'm not trying to overparent it's your job. But if you knew what I knew, you would not do it. Like, How do we sound the alarm? We must wake everyone up. This episode alone, what Janet has gone through already is beyond enough to trigger someone to now watch Vaxed 1, Vaxed 2. Actually look into the real studies and the real research and the real information. This is why RFK is questioning all of this. It needs to be entirely investigated properly. But all these shots need to be shelved, a minimum for the time being.
Turned out to be a plain lie. More studies have shown that vaccines contain unacceptably high levels of fetal DNA fragment contaminants. Oh, and by the way, this particular MMRV vaccine gave the researchers of Cabal an extra shock. Not only did they find an entire human genome, they also discovered as good as no rubella virus, which should have been there. Instead, they found an alarming amount of bacteria and viruses that should not have been there, some of which carcinogenic. And on top of that, they discovered fungi, yeast, and worms. That's right.
Yeah, all that's good
Stuff
for
we
a
injected
kid.
to little babies contain
Unbelievable.
retroviruses of humans and birds, other viruses of monkeys and horses, immunodeficiency viruses of...
See, at the end of the day, these individuals, it's their choice, right? It's their choice. But what we could do is shift the paradigm to where their environment, they're not just following the herd, because the paradigm now shifted. Everyone's now more so pinging hesitancy. And that's how you really get to the bottom, is to the truth, the actual truth. Having these conversations, questioning things, combining research, we could shift the paradigm. So there might not be any one individual that could break through any other, let's say, this specific individual. But collectively, when we shift that paradigm, now it triggers something. Now they're going to look into it. They're going to do their research. And as long as it's not strictly Google, strictly YouTube, strictly any controlled platform, they will come across the truth, and it will lead to more health and wellness for their child and more fulfillment on protecting their child.
humans and
Period.
monkeys, in other words, fragments of HIV and platyomintus worms. But hey,
Wow.
vaccines are safe.
No, they're not.
Then,
Unbelievable.
cancer cells. Vaccines contain cancer cells for the exact same reason they contain fetus tissue. Cancer cells, too, are excellent nutrient mediums.
Wow.
They have the capacity to speed up the growth of whatever grows on them. But, just like we just saw with the fetal tissue, it goes further than that. There have been quite a few scandals in the past about full-on cancer cells in, for instance, polio vaccines, that of course were efficiently swept under the carpet by the mainstream media.
Wow.
Last but not least, nagalase, an enzyme that is secreted by virus-infected cells and by cancerous cells in the process of tumor invasion. Please take a moment to let that sink in. Let me repeat. An enzyme that is secreted by virus-infected cells and by cancerous cells in the process of tumor invasion. How on earth can that be good?
Wow.
Well, it can't be good. And it isn't good. Nagalase prevents the body from producing its best friend, the natural immune booster called globulin component macrophage activating factor. GCMAF activates macrophages, a certain type of white blood cells that attack cancer cells and other foreign invaders like a pit bull defending your body. But nagalase deactivates your pit bull. As a result, everything bad, like cancer, can grow in your body without limitations.
Unbelievable.
High levels of nagalase have been found in patients with all sorts of cancer, autism, diabetes, immune disorders, plus viral and bacterial infections.
You know what's wild? Those very parents, I tried my best that I sent Vaxed 1, Vaxed 2, all these other documentaries. I mean, data after data after data prior to that shot. I've now seen these kids develop crazy allergens, crazy gut issues, behavior issues. And I believe it's only going to be the tip of the iceberg. It's really hard humanly to get to the bottom and of what is the actual root of the issue. Now imagine the cognitive dissonance for a parent and now in that position, knowing solely, well, I mean, you could sit there and point the finger, blame, I got pressured, I got pressured for my pediatric, I got pressured for the school system, I got pressured. You can, but at the end of the day, they didn't take your child in there and get that done. That responsibility solely landed on your shoulders. Am I blaming any particular individual? No, this is evil tactics and it's deceiving us. Now, I'm super grateful for the floodgates to open and for us to get this information out. But we need to shift the paradigm together because it pains me. I'm so passionate. Like, I'm not trying to twist anyone's wrist, or force anyone. Everyone has their agency, but it's, my gosh, it's innocence. We just got to get the information out. Help me. Please share this with everyone you know. Comment in it. Hit that like button. Do all the things that help magnify this very message. And it's not for me. It's for the children. It's for their parents. It's for our future generations.
Why on earth is this crap added to vaccines?
Right.
Well, many doctors asked that same question. They started doing their own research and came up with the same shocking conclusion. Nagalase must have been added to the vaccines on purpose in order to slowly kill people.
Wow.
Not only that,
wow.
They treated their patients with GC-MAF, the pitbull activator, and with outstanding results. Their research findings did not exactly receive a warm welcome.
Golly. Just receipt after receipt. I love Janet. Look at all this information so well organized for us all. This is not a coincidence. There are doctors upon doctors. Janet herself, by exposing this, and we're just going to, I really don't care. I want to watch my show on Netflix. Seriously? Is that where we're at? Wow. Come on. These are not coincidences.
More than 100 American doctors who investigated Nagalase in relation to cancer and autism ended up dead. Murdered.
More than 100. That was exposing big money. Exposing, it's more than money for these individuals, folks. We got to understand that. It was disrupting their plant because more than money, what do they want? They want power and control. They want unfettered. They don't want any challengers to their two-tiered infrastructure, the whole system. So what do they roll out? A poisoning, a dumbing down, a murderous shots. All the above. It gets us. I can't express it enough as to the Lyme disease. Guys, it had me at death's door. It had me for months at a time just laying in bed considering how I was going to end myself. Because with Lyme and that bioweapon, it literally stops dopamine, serotonin, messes up your cortisol. You have no happy. It takes away function. Can only imagine the impacts of these type of things. They have ways of diminishing us and getting us essentially even to that breaking point or So it's bigger than money. More than 100. Like, it's mic drop. This episode alone, maybe we'll just reference back to it time and time again. What are we? It is 17, part 17. Maybe when this heals and I could do the gym and I could I feel like I'm more neurologically there, I will come back to the singular episode and try again. Maybe it'll be the 10th or 11th that will actually gain proper momentum on people, on reaching people, and help shift the paradigm.
Suicided.
Come
If
on.
there's one thing we've learned from all our research, it's that the vaccine mafia accepts no opponents. And those who stand out, for instance, because of their former connection to
Millions.
that same mafia, and or for having a great amount of followers on social media, are silenced without mercy.
Right? Oh my gosh, found dead inside her home. Is that the one? She kicked off a foundation. I believe that was the one. Is she the one? All right. Well, I'll have to look into it. But yeah, they were coming after her. She said on a phone call that she was a sitting duck. She felt like a sitting duck. And they placed a dummy duck, like a fake duck, within her home to make a statement. Like, yeah, we got you. And then mysteriously found dead. There's such evil. But there's such excitement. Not just to expose it. We have a great opportunity. It's right now. It's a pivotal moment. And it is biblical. And it is irrelevant whether we right this ship in this life or not. Knowing this, it's like, what do you do with it? That's what's important. Whether the world ended today or not, would you still not plant an apple tree? Imagine what light, what beauty. And I don't mean for this to be too dark or too harsh. It just, once again, when it comes to children and that innocence, like we're to go above and beyond to help educate, to protect our littles. Come what may. Wow.
Hard to digest, isn't it? And the list that we have presented, both in this episode and the previous.
Right there. This is a lot of the war tactics. Wars, natural disasters, famine and drought, plagues and disease, additives in food, water, beauty care, cleaning products, GMOs, family planning, chemtrails, electrosmog, also 5G, and vaccinations. Yeah. Water.
Previous ones is far from being complete. What about electronic
Pharmaceutical.
cigarettes and vaporizers?
Right.
Do you believe they offer a safe alternative to normal cigarettes? Forget
Boy.
it. They have turned out to be just as harmful. Scientific studies have proven that e-cigarettes can cause cancer,
Wow.
heart problems, lung injury, and that they can damage and change your DNA due to
Jeez.
the chemicals present in e-cigarette aerosols, like for instance formaldehyde and acrolein.
Look, she's bringing the sources, everything.
And what about LED lights? Pushed and sold as energy-saving delights.
Oh boy.
Yet, the blue light in LED light bulbs radiates ultraviolet light that damages the retina of your eyes. It suppresses the production of
Yeah,
melatonin
sleep.
by a factor of 5, causing sleep and mood problems.
Wow.
And it affects the cancer-fighting abilities of your body, remember? Did they tell you that at the store where you bought them, after your government had prohibited the sales of the good old-fashioned light bulb?
Wow.
And did you know that every big pharma product is based on crude oil? Every pill you swallow,
Wow.
every candle that you burn contains paraffin. a waste product of the petroleum industry, releasing carcinogenic chemicals. And did you know that microwave ovens destroy all nutrients in whatever meal you put in them? Did you know mammograms contain so much radiation that one's entire breast is not only painfully squashed, but also exposed to an upgrade in one's chances of getting cancer?
Wow.
We could go on and on and on. Everything was done by design. There are no coincidences here.
Right.
The Cabal's deep desire to get rid of the vast majority of us has been worked out in detail in every branch of society, in every aspect of our lives. Whether we die fast, through wars and disease, or slow, by poisoning us, doesn't matter. As long as we're gone by 2050. Max 500 million may survive to serve as obedient slaves in a new world order under the King of Kings. So, how are they going to finish us off? The ultimately perfected weapon to kill off millions of people in one go has already been activated. Do you want to know just how bad it is and what you can do about it? Then follow me to part 18.
Janet, you are amazing. Isn't it a blessing? How does she even keep her composure, her positivity, right? I want to rip things apart. I want to go smack people, even literally smack them in the face, smack some truth in their face. And it's like, yeah, there's a part of it. It's like, okay, borderline, are we becoming evil in doing so because we're infringing on people's free agency? Well, if evil has essentially effectively taken away their free agency to where they're not thinking for themselves, they are destructive, well, where does that line lay? I don't know. I'm just a flawed, limited man, and even more so with the Lyme disease and what I've experienced in this life, but it's crucial. With flaws included, we just do what we can. That's why I invite you onto this platform. Let's help magnify each other's voice to have the biggest impact we can. Please reach out. Let's go. All right, let's continue with part 18. I hope it's as heavy hitting or even heavier hitting, but I'll try my best not to be too disruptive and more to the point. You guys are awesome. I appreciate every one of you. We got this.
At the end of our previous part, we promised to reveal to you the ultimate...
We got to read that. Everything you have heard about this virus, the COVID-19, has been a lie. Are you ready for the biggest conspiracy in history of mankind? Then fasten your seatbelt. She's not joking. Biggest conspiracy in history. Everything we heard about that virus is a lie. 100%. We've brought the proof and we'll continue to bring it.
At the end of our previous part, we promised to reveal to you the ultimate Cabal weapon. Rolled out already and waiting for the start signal to kill millions of people in one go. You know by now that 5G is involved, right? The 60 gigahertz they have in store for us should do it. It should be sufficient in and of itself. But just to make sure our bodies will react to that frequency in the best possible way, the Cabal added a few more ingredients.
Right.
This, my friends, is where COVID-19 comes in.
Ooh.
The main COVID soup ingredients? Social distancing, face masks, nose swabs, PCR tests, quarantines, lockdowns, vaccinations, and fear.
Wow.
Now remember what we concluded at the end of our previous episode. All of this was done on purpose.
Right.
Everything. Including, of course, the COVID pandemic. It was planned years ago as the depopulation agenda's crowning glory. Nobody knew what was about to unfold, except the Cabal. Their plan would turn out to be absolutely brilliant. Their strategy? Offering a solution to an all-encompassing problem. A problem so threatening, so frightening, that even the toughest among the useless eaters would beg for a solution. In the years and months leading up to the rollout of the Cabal's master plan, the necessary problem was fabricated in a way nobody had suspected. You see, it wasn't a killer virus made in China.
Right.
We were all made to believe that narrative. But let's face it, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, as it's officially called, has never been isolated, purified, sequenced, characterized, and proven to exist.
To this day, the defective PCR test in and of itself, I can't believe people are still taking that crap. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The cognitive dissonance. Geez, to sum up everything we've gone over this last year, that's why I'm telling you folks, the pandemic, this COVID scam is truly the smoking gun for us all. Help us orchestrate the words, the clips, the everything to expose the lies. Because then, man, we have a shot. It's such a beautiful opportunity to take out this cabal once and for all. Let's freaking go. I'm amped. Fact is, if we don't gain more here, I'm going to start engaging out there. So I really hope more people get on board, because in this digital space, this is where evil's been most effective. And as one man out there, I'm limited. So let's go. Let's all do our part. Let's unify.
Not by anyone, anywhere in the world. No scientist, no virologist, no Nobel Prize winner succeeded in doing so. Not one study fulfilled the gold standard of Koch's postulates. They all failed. Concerned researchers and scientists asked over 90 institutions worldwide if they could provide any records describing the isolation of a SARS-CoV-2 virus taken from a deceased human. Not one could do so.
Wow.
Not one.
Says a lot. It's all made up. It's all lies. Fear porn. Control. Wow.
Was this ever proven in court? Yes, it was. In
Yes.
Canada, Patrick King had the nerve to be in a group with more than 10 people.
Wow.
He was fined $1,200 Canadian for violating the Alberta Public Health Act.
What?
King took it to court where he represented himself. He subpoenaed Dina Hinshaw, Chief Medical Officer of Health for Alberta, and asked her for proof of the SARS-CoV-2 virus being properly isolated. After all, only this would scientifically back the Alberta Public Health Act. Hinshaw was unable to deliver such proof.
Wow.
Scientifically speaking, there is no virus other than a digital theoretical abstraction made on a computer from a genomic database.
Boom.
Even the American CDC admitted they made a digital virus of 30,000 base pairs using 37 base pairs from...
People still use the verbiage. That's why I like to walk away from it. Sure, there's something. Well, and that's what an argument someone might make. Well, I sure had something. So if it wasn't COVID, what is it? I feel something 100%. Whether they wrapped, they kicked off some type of, let's just say parasite, because I'm now more a believer in parasites than bacterias or viruses. To be honest, I'm questioning that. Now, I'm not totally black-pilled on it. It's just, it's just interesting to me, right? Because they provide flu shots, all this cold medicine, all these things, when come to find out, due to COVID, ivermectin not just knocked out whatever COVID symptoms there were, it also knocked out cold and flu, which is what? Virus, bacterial, everything that they've been telling us. So what's an anti-parasitical having such resounding, positive benefits? That tells me it's more parasitical. So could they have unleashed something more parasitical and transmissible by all of us? Yeah, sure. Could they have, integrated these things into the chemtrails they're spraying over our heads? Yeah, absolutely. Could it be the installing of the 5G and the frequencies, which has been proven to be damaging on a cellular level and also mirror all the symptoms of COVID? Yeah. So let's not be stuck in their trap of their lingo, because that may not lead us to the root of the issue at hand. The fact of the matter is there's still prolonged COVID long haulers, as they're calling it, defining it. That just tells me they're either continuing, maybe obviously they're continuing with the spray, right? And it could have a level there, or the frequencies. The thing is, we got to get these things shut down. What do you bet? A huge, vast majority of us, a big breath of fresh air and light and energy and sleep is just going to come naturally. What do you bet? Then we clean up food sources. What do you bet? It even gets better. More enjoyment, more youth at even elder ages. I'd almost guarantee it at this point, knowing what I know. So let's go. What are we waiting for? I love you guys. Thanks for dealing with me. I know I'm a special case, but I'm just so amped up to seek solutions. Help me get on the front lines effectively on your behalf. Help fund this so I can pay more attention to really honing in on my presentation, on my words, and hand off a lot of the digital stuff to more so a digital expert. Because as it stands right now, marketing, the digital side, the creation side, the content side, like as a woman band, it is utterly exhausting. So it's like jack of all trades, master of none, right? So I could do better. Just help us fund all the things. Could potentially be the best return on investment you ever do. Can I guarantee personally a secure future for you? No. But in doing so, definitely would help increase the odds. What more meaningful things to engage in? I mean, is your church literally going to the front lines? Or are they keeping the whole congregation complicit and more so wrapped up, I don't know, distracted in a way? Anyway.
Unpurified samples. That's right, they used computer generation for the missing 29,963 base pairs. That, my dearest viewer, is called scientific fraud. But you weren't told this by Fauci, Gates, or any other mainstream media hotshot, right? To me, this computer generation step constitutes scientific fraud. Here is an equivalency. A group of researchers claim to have found a unicorn because they found a piece of a hoof, a hair from a tail, and a snippet of horn. They then add that information into a computer and program it to recreate the unicorn. And they then claim this computer recreation is the real unicorn.
Wow.
Of course, they had never actually seen a unicorn, so could not possibly have examined its genetic makeup to compare their samples with the actual unicorn's hair, hooves, and horn.
What a great analogy for COVID. You know what? Let's take a minute. Let's screenshot that. Holy smokes. There you have it in a nutshell. Holy. Sorry.
True science has no room for politics, majority rules, or consensus.
Wow.
Yet, according to Dr. Cohen, consensus was used to determine which digital SARS-CoV-2 model was the most real fake model. It went something like this.
Voila. Oh my gosh, Janet, you are something. She's so good. Ugh.
The
can't
researchers
fill those
claim they
shoes.
decided which is the real genome of SARS-CoV-2 by consensus, sort of like a vote. Again, different computer programs will come up with different versions of the imaginary unicorn, so they come together as a group and decide which is the real imaginary unicorn.
Wow.
We're pretty sure that had they found a feather as well, the final consensus would have been something like this.
Oh my gosh.
And the people would have believed it, because fraudulent scientists had said so.
Right.
We hope you understand that we could stop this COVID episode right now. All that needed to be said has been said.
Right.
COVID-19
I
has
agree.
never been proven to exist. Those who say otherwise either lie to you in your face, or they haven't understood what it means to isolate a virus. Some fact
Completely
checkers and even
indoctrinated.
researchers believe that isolating means adding something to it, like monkey kidney cells and fetal bovine serum. That is not the scientific definition of isolation. The closest we have ever come to scientific evidence of an isolated virus is shown in this picture. COVID-19 has never been proven to exist. The end.
You know, let's put this tool on our toolbox with a note. Part 18, to educate even doctors, any personnel that is still using their propagandist narratives, their talk, their lingo of COVID to this day. Bring them to this. Set them free. Let's cut them chains.
So why did this nasty fairy tale continue? Well, let's just say that the majority of the 99% are easy to manipulate and mislead. And so, this episode continues. And to tell you the truth, the things we discovered while researching this most evil scam ever are so shocking and so much bigger than we suspected that we must continue exposing the Cabal's true face. You must look it in the eyes in order to understand that we, the people, have but one chance left to unite and fight the
Yes.
evil we are dealing with.
That's it right now. Wow. Look at the image. Come on. All of us together. Dude, these freaking... This evil doesn't have a chance. Let's go.
So, back to our storyline. The plan to create a killer virus had failed. But they tried all right. Remember the Wuhan Institute of Virology? Millions of dollars went there from the US, from
Right.
criminals like Anthony Fauci and Charles
Right.
Lieber.
To the gallows.
Remember the Fauci emails that will cause his downfall?
He
Please
lied
do some
under
research
oath
on
time
gain
and
of
time
function.
again.
The project where they try to create a virus that would be able to jump from bat to humans, and subsequently from humans to other humans. Now that last bit is a problem. Surely you've heard of Lyme disease. A virus-infected tick bites
Here
a
we
human
go.
being, and that human being gets sick. But he or she cannot transmit the disease to another person. Not by hugging, not by sneezing, not even by having sex. For a virus to adapt to the DNA of a new host, so it can feed itself and multiply, and then become highly contagious, takes many, many decades in nature. In this case, the Cabal simply ran out of time. Their original plan, in terms of creating a highly contagious and deadly virus, had failed. There was nothing
We're
more than an
lucky.
ordinary winter flu. Now those are the scientific facts. But of course, the Cabal couldn't work with that. They needed a monster of a threat. A problem so great that we, the people, would beg for a solution.
Right.
A common flu simply wouldn't do it. And so, a narrative was created. A narrative about a killer virus from Wuhan. The story became bigger and bigger. China closed its borders, but the killer virus managed to escape and contaminate the entire world. The UN took control. The WHO worked day and night to fight this monster. The mainstream media spread the narrative like a real virus. And the people held their breath.
And the people magnified their stories. Now, undoubtedly, the thing is, colds and flu especially, and leading to pneumonia and so many other things, actually have taken many lives annually, right? But with the fear porn, I personally know individuals, when I had an honest discussion with them, when they were like, it was scary, I was so close to death, it was the worst illness I've ever experienced, ever. And I sat down with them, looking in the eyes, and I'm like, really? Ever? Think back when you were a child. Like, how bad did it get for you? You were bedridden. Were you still able to get up, cook you some food, and like do stuff? Well, yeah. Well, can't you recall where you were legitimately bedridden? You couldn't move. You were spewing out of TMI both ends for days on end. You literally, as a kid or teenage, I'd imagine there were many of us that were closer to death many different times with other illnesses, more so than this. It's just the ramping up of fear got more of us, and it's like we're dealing with amnesia here. I tell you what, I mean, I remember feeling like certain illnesses, like there was nothing left in me, and my body was like ravishly, like just convulsing, trying to throw up that much more, and it had nothing to give. I was just waiting for my whole insides just to come out. Like, it just, you kidding me? You kidding me? The worst you ever experienced? Now, for some, sure, that might have been the moment you were closest with an illness, for sure. But nowhere near, if people are being honest with themselves, the percentage that just believed all the hype. Anyways, I digress. But once again, I am on board that it's not the narrative, the picture they painted and they spewed upon us at all. And this is something that they've tried in the past. They just realized we need to gain more of the microphone in order to be effective. We need more of the platforms. We need all the news outlets. So what they do, they positioned themselves correctly for this one. Even this fizzled out because they couldn't and really restrain truth from getting out. So people became more reluctant when they continually did these variants. Oh, this is going to be the worst of them. We're going to be calling for another lockdown. But people weren't compliant. They weren't drinking it. So what did it do? It just disappeared. They were ramping it up worse than the initial COVID. It all was hype. They just were able to build so much momentum through their war machine and freaking information. This should show us how dangerous it is, censorship. And to this day, there's not a heavier censored topic that I'm running into than trying to share information that would breathe light into people's health. Chemtrails, water, vaccinations, food. All these topics are getting censored. More so on TikTok, but also on YouTube. So what does it tell you? You could choose freedom on Rumble or slavery on YouTube. Freedom on Rumble, manipulation on YouTube. Your choice. You're too smart to be manipulated. Only if you were fully informed would you at least have some type of level of protection. Without being informed, it's not even if. It's a guarantee you will be manipulated. 100%.
Everywhere in the world, old people died of the flu. Like every flu season.
Oh, here we go.
Every year.
Up to
But the mainstream
650.
media, bought and raised by the Cabal, did their job magnificently.
Oh my gosh.
Every day, non-stop.
She's backing me up.
They repeated their horror stories about the millions of people who would die in the coming months.
Motorcycle
Repetition,
crash,
repetition,
COVID death.
Repetition. People were brainwashed to the extent of being only able to repeat what they had heard on the news.
Yep.
Those who raised critical questions were labeled conspiracy theorists.
Right.
They were dangerous and should not be heard.
So dumb.
They were to become the outcasts of society.
Right. And we were.
Now, the funny thing is, most people still believe that this pandemic was a sudden outbreak. All of a sudden it was there at the beginning of 2020. Well, no, not correct. Let's have a look at some hard facts that will show us that the entire COVID-19 event was a well-prepared and rehearsed project.
100%.
What happened? Remember the swine flu outbreak in the US in the spring of 2009? Well, according to the CDC's website, the WHO declared the swine flu a pandemic on June 11, which was insane, as only a few people had died from the infection.
Interesting,
But
huh?
it was spreading from the US to other countries, and that made it a pandemic. Now, if you're as old as we are, you know that this is not severe
Janet.
enough to be called a pandemic. Not even close. Our encyclopedias read, a pandemic consisted of simultaneous epidemic outbreaks worldwide with enormous numbers of deaths and illness. That was precisely the definition used by the WHO.
That's why they had to ramp up the deaths, make remdesivir the gold standard, because they knew with the Ebola trials, remdesivir killed 54% of its patients. Let's make that the gold standard for COVID treatment. Combine that, malnourishment, the vent, like all these things, it even magnified. And it's crazy because it wasn't even that long ago I ran into a nurse that totally, to this day, takes the propagandist narratives hook, line, and sinker, and because she was just in this echo chamber and she wasn't practicing medicine any longer. She was put in a box. This is what she was doing. She was seeing people. I've never seen this before. Well, when last did you administer remdesivir to your patients in hospitals? Never. And all these other things. It's not just remdesivir. I forget the name of the other ones, but it's so clear. The fact so many to this day just haven't educated themselves. What relevance? Okay, that's the thing in the past. It's like, well, when you actually understand how effective in the distribution of wealth, now what they're doing with that money, it's a matter of time. And it doesn't seem like a president, politics, our court system, our military, anything is really built out to fully combat and protect us from what's coming next. And it's not if, it's when, and there's worse things coming. And that's a guarantee. Unless we seize the day and shut these things down before the worst things get triggered. If that's not clear, it should be clear if folks even watched half of what we've gone through with the fall of the Cabal. Half of it would make it absolutely clear. I appreciate you all. Let's continue.
Till May the 5th, 2009. On that day, 5 weeks before the official outbreak of the swine flu pandemic, the WHO quietly changed the definition by removing the severity and high mortality criteria.
Interesting.
What was left? Just the spread of a disease over several countries. How convenient. Now guess what? The NIH denies that the definition of a pandemic was ever changed by the WHO. Shame on those who say otherwise.
Of course.
It has undermined the public trust in health officials.
Freaking
Seriously?
liars.
Have a look at the evidence. Not that you can still find it on the WHO website. Everything has been deleted.
Right.
But there's a magical tool called the Wayback Machine.
Here we
You
go.
can delete all you want from the internet.
Bring the receipts.
But it never
Tell 'em.
disappears. It just gets hidden in a different place when nobody looks for it. The Wayback Machine helps you track the original site, page, or even sentence. See
Wow.
for yourself. Just a random day in 2003. Enormous numbers of deaths and illness.
Here we go.
March 2009. Enormous numbers of deaths and illness. May 4, 2009. Enormous numbers of deaths and illness. And then, May 5, 2009. A completely different story, but no real definition yet. They were still thinking about it, or so it seems.
Wow.
The next day, they changed it again.
They were seeing what they could get away with and push it as much as they could. And that's exactly what they did with this pandemic. And they built up a lot of momentum. A lot. And they pushed it as far as they could. And they were far too effective. So many got these shots and boosters. Unbelievable. But even beyond that, from the lockdowns, shutdowns, the masking, 6 foot safe, closures of businesses, distribution of wealth, buying up property, land grabs, BlackRock. Are you freaking kidding me? Just the sheer money these pharmaceutical companies reeled in. We can't even fathom, folks.
May 6.
Do you want me to just like boom, stop right here and go over to the Rothschilds like estates and everything? What the Federal Reserve has truly done for them now? Not just Bill Gates, George Soros, all these evil individuals. Barack Hussein Obama, Fauci, Pelosi. I mean, the list goes on. A lot of them are just puppets and more so the face, not so much the real part of the real infrastructure, just the front man. Unbelievable. Like, people, you know what? I'm out of words. I'm literally out of words. Let's just let Janet do her thing because she is hitting it out of the park. And I'm so grateful for her.
A pandemic is a worldwide epidemic of a disease. Pandemics can be either mild or severe in the illness and death they cause.
Oh, wow.
And it stayed that way. So, NIH.
Interesting.
What exactly did you say again?
Yeah.
The WHO did not change its definition of pandemic influenza. And what did you say to those who claimed the WHO did change the definition? It undermined the public trust in health officials.
Wow. Caught him red-handed.
No shit. We wonder how that happened. And it
Wow.
only gets better.
Good job, Janet.
Let's have a
Guilty.
look at the CDC's very own timeline. April 15, first human infection.
Such a clown
April
world.
17, second human infection. April 21, the CDC starts developing a candidate vaccine virus. My, 2 flu infections and, oh my god, we're all gonna die? We need a vaccine? But hey, let's not judge. They are the professionals, all right? They know what they're doing.
Unbelievable.
One day-
I'm so sick of this evil cabal. I swear, if someone's got like $1 million under their couch cushion, throw it to Unmuzzled Chat. I swear we'll go directly after the head of the snake. No more messing around. Now I know it's bigger than just throwing together a militia. There's legitimate steps that need to be taken, inquiries, reaching out to officials, and whether it's military, wherever we can gain ground and support to essentially go after them, we will. Help us. I don't want to just idly sit by and accept this two-tiered infrastructure for the rest of our lives. Unleash me. Let me go. Now, right now, limited. Funding would help gain the right momentum, unify enough people to where, who's to say, we can't live stream and do some very powerful things in this existence. Help us get there. If you don't have the finances, well then smash that like button, drop comments, and share to the moon and back. On every episode. Especially Janet's episodes. Are you kidding me? She is a gift. I don't know how else to put it. Such a blessing. She really gives us a clear picture what took place, and more so just exposes evil and truth.
Later, April 22, the CDC activates its Emergency Operations Center. Wow, don't you feel safe knowing that these people are there for you when you need them? I mean, 2 people get a new kind of flu and voila, ready to save lives. And look how professional that is. April 23, 2 more people are now infected. April 24, the CDC uploads complete gene sequences of the new virus to an international influenza database. Why am I thinking about unicorns right now? April 25, the WHO declares a public health emergency of international concern.
Unbelievable.
Well, of course they did. 4 people down with the flu.
Right.
What else could they do?
Golly.
April 28, the FDA approves a new CDC test to detect H1N1 infections. Wow. Now that's what we call dedication. In 2 weeks' time, this test was both developed and FDA approved. In July, only 3 months after the first US infection, the CDC stopped keeping track of new infections or casualties.
We found was by the 3rd week in July, the CDC advised states to stop testing for individual cases of H1N1 flu, and they stopped counting individual cases. The rationale that the CDC gave was, well, why continue wasting resources tracking when we already have established there is an epidemic? Why continue wasting resources tracking when we already have established there is an epidemic?
Wow.
What followed was identical to the SARS-CoV-2 script.
Right. Gosh dang, we're limited beings. We've taken so much of their BS is truth. We've fallen prey, man. All of us. Jeez. Expose them, Janet. Expose them. Golly. Wow.
But there were no lockdowns. It suddenly stopped. The WHO
Magically.
officially declared the end of the pandemic in August 2010. What happened? On October 21, 2009, CBS investigative reporter Cheryl Atkinson told Washington Unplugged that 3 months of investigation had proven that only a tiny percentage of suspected cases turned out to test positive for the swine flu.
Wow.
If you've been diagnosed with probable or presumed 2009 H1N1 or swine flu in recent months, you may be surprised to know this. The odds are you didn't have H1N1 flu. In fact, you probably didn't have flu at all. Only a small fraction of cases that doctors flagged as most likely to be swine flu actually tested positive for swine flu at state labs. The vast majority of the cases were negative.
So you're saying one reporter on one station, one time, stopped their scamdemic, their 2009 scamdemic in and of itself. Wow. That's why they needed full control. They couldn't allow that one. That's why they deleted and suicided so many doctors that built momentum early on. Women, men, no longer with us. Janet herself is no longer with us, folks. And it's not a coincidence. I mean, even think about this. I've admitted, yes, due to Lyme disease and biological warfare, I've been on death's door, and it has had me suicidal for some time. Am I suicidal at all in this moment, or for over a year and a half? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I feel like I'm actually furthering myself from that. I'm too on fire. I'm too on fire for life. I'm too on fire for this mission. I'm too on fire to showing up and fulfilling my calling and fighting on the front lines. That's not even a thought, even on my worst days now. So let that be clear. But just with this level, I mean, just, my gosh. Think about the shots. Think about all these things they're doing. The biggest distribution wealth throughout history. Who's to say now with the frequency warfare, you name it, that they couldn't target your DNA or your biological system, your neurological system to such an extent. A, they have other means of just taking you out and then making it look like a suicide. But I believe their biowarfare, their technological warfare, I mean, after all, World Economic Forum states they have the technology to control the masses, that humans are now hackable animals, want nothing to be happy. What does that really tell you? I'd even venture to say we've entered into a new era of biological warfare to where they themselves could even get you to a place. So why kill you when they can get you to a place where you will kill yourself? That's why I feel they're even kicking off those institutions that will assist you in suiciding yourself. Oh, I'm not feeling good anymore. And you can literally go in and have it medically assisted, like murder, death to yourself. I believe it's ramping up in this country. It's definitely happening up in Canada. And I can't retain all the information, but I'm sure other countries as well. Think about that. So even just throwing it out there, like I wasn't there. If Janet herself, in fact, ended her life, who's to say, if that was the case, that she still wasn't targeted so greatly to get her to that place? Make sense? But I find it too convenient. When I hear her voice, I hear and feel the same conviction that I myself have, and there's no freaking way she ended herself. She did not put all this stuff together, understand what's going on, see more so the bigger picture. Now, I really don't know in a spiritual sense where she landed and whether, she saw Jesus as her Lord and Savior. But that gives me a clarity, there's just no way. I know with God by my side, it'll never be as bad for me in this life as it's already been. Because even if I now physically struggle more than I have in the past, I've established a faith, a reliance on God that will make the greater challenge, I suppose, a lesser challenge than in the past when I didn't have that relationship. I don't know if that made sense to you at all, but I'll work on it. Thanks for bearing with me. I love y'all. Let's continue. Unbelievable.
There were hardly any real cases, contrary to what the public was told by the mainstream media. But Atkinson's shocking discoveries were not aired on TV.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
Dr. Wolfgang Wodak, lung specialist and former chair of Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, who told the world that the swine flu was only a mild flu.
Oh, there we
He
go.
called the WHO's
So another
false
individual.
pandemic flu campaign one of the greatest medicine scandals of the century. Dr. Wodak
And
was
we
a
didn't learn
well-respected
nothing.
and very well-known physician and politician. His message reached many millions of people. It seems like the Cabal had not expected this. They must have been outraged. How could one man bust up their plans? And so, they worked their evil plan towards perfection. You see, Dr. Wodak told the people there was no pandemic on TV. And it was
You know what? The fact he reached millions of people, my mind just ping-ponged. Can we please get Janet's episodes over to Joe Rogan? Does someone have a connection to Joe Rogan? Get Janet's material over to him. I have a feeling he would freaking eat this up in his personal time, in his personal life. It's well done enough. I'm grateful for so much Joe Rogan's done, but early pandemic, I couldn't help but I tuned out. Too much cowardice. I mean, the simple fact, like when he spoke out on ivermectin, things like that, like he backpedaled. He didn't push the envelope. But now that more are pushing the envelope, now he's finally pushing the envelope. That to me isn't real courage. However, he's expressing some courage, and that's to get praise. And yet again, I'm not in his shoes, so I can't sit here and point the finger. But at the end of the day, I'm extremely grateful because he's brought a lot of people into this side of absorbing information, which is more so open and free source versus completely controlled, owned fake news. So thank you, Joe Rogan, but I want to challenge him further. Let's get some of this stuff because I hear him talk about having COVID still to this day. It's like, bro, define COVID. When the PCR testing was defective in and of itself and had negative efficacy, what's COVID when it hasn't been isolated in the wild or in any individual? I love that unicorn analogy. It's like this, and then they program something to acknowledge this, and they put the label COVID-19 to it. It's the same thing with all the different variants. And it just so happened to, after these rollouts of shots, this next variant would ensue, and the highest percentage of individuals that were sick from this next variant, in fact, included the very individuals that got the vaccine that was supposed to protect them and was safe and effective. And then the ones that got that booster ended up the high percentage of the individuals with this next variant. Unbelievable. Look at the statistics. Look at the actual numbers. And let's not freaking lie to ourselves anymore. And we'll come to terms with the reality we live in and see to it that this actually leads to the fall of the cabal. She gave us everything we needed to bring this cabal to its knees, to the betterment of all humanity, to the betterment of our health, for all God's children, for all the countries across the world, all the people, to fight back against their oppressors, gain real freedom, fulfill the very meaning and purpose while we're here. I'm telling you, it's bigger than what we've been programmed to believe. What do you want to be when you grow up? No, there's bigger things. There's bigger things and income and jobs and being a slave to the debted system. Let's go after the slave masters that built out this dead system. What's stopping us? Who? Like ourselves. That's it. Ourselves. Well, if the fear's within you and you don't want to step on them front lines, let me on your behalf. I'm telling you, dig through the couch cushion, find that $1 million, get it over to UNMUZZLED Chat. We will not let you down. I'm on fire for this. It's for you. It's something I'd be willing to die for, especially for, your innocent lives, because so much of us just weren't in the know, right? It's not like we're, let's say, military ready and trained and signed up for this 5th generation warfare. So yeah, this is innocent civilian lives being lost, but even more than that, the innocent lives of children that are dependent on us. Let me go to war on their behalfs. Help us grow and reach more people. I pray. Thank you guys.
It was this communication where things went wrong. The solution lied in the ultimate deployment of all communication means and methods. Years of fine-tuning went by. And then, almost 5 years before the official outbreak of COVID-19, in 2015, Bill Gates told the world that the next great deadly threat to humanity would not be a war, but a virus.
Right.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this.
Frick this evil.
If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war.
And they are on track to achieve that easily, if not exceed it exponentially. Just ramps up the sense of urgency for us all. Let's inform everyone. We are in a wartime. Once again, the war, like the actual war, like the political side of it, it's just this little leg of the war tactics with all these other war tactics. It's just this leg. Could we potentially back politicians or a president to focus and win the war? Yeah, but more than likely there's these other legs of bankers' wars. Israel's one of them. Distractions to wrap us up to where we're not addressing. Now we're focused on this. That's why we're not to be reliant. We could win the political war and still lose this world war. 100%. This 5th generation warfare. 100%. I am concerned. I won't lie. There's a certain individual connected to this cabal that donated over $100 million to Trump. Makes me question. I love so much as to Trump. Like I love Trump at this point. And so much about him. But there are some freaking red flags. No one's really having these discussions with him on an open platform. There were a lot of things he stated. I mean, he did amazing things on his last term. Don't get me wrong. And I'm so grateful for that. But lock her up, all these things, like, didn't do it. I guess the moral of the story, to sum all that up, is we can't rely on any one individual to save us all. It's up to us. We all have a responsibility. We all have a role. So the question becomes, will all of us individually hold ourselves accountable to do what we can and more? Let's stop the projection and having... why... I'm getting so mad at my brain. It's not sticking. Conditional. Let's not have conditional love for our loved ones. Let's have unconditional by grasping all the threats and stop projecting as though we love individuals unconditionally when there's conditions, and actually show up unconditionally by fulfilling full protection. Always seeking knowledge, always staying absorbed. Let's not be lulled to sleep by this false sense of security or the new Coliseum known as the NFL. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like that. I know there's good, wholesome things that come from real sports, which NFL is classified as entertainment. They got so much energy, advertising and halftime shows and all of these just so much commercial in. It's entertainment. more than it is a sport. We could bring it back to a sport 100%, but we got to win the war in order to do so. Then we now could have a healthy form of engagement and all the life lessons that come from the competitiveness and the hard work that comes from like these type of like structures. But we can't let it distract us in this wartime. It is interesting when you really tap into the information, it somehow fuels excitement. I mean, it can be disheartening. It can be at times. But I'm way past like absorbing information. Well, I will still I'll have my moments. I'm human. But generally, overall, it's just a sheer excitement to do what I could do. That's where I continually more so show up no matter, doesn't matter how I'm feeling with a bioweapon or not. Sorry, I'm going on too long. I want to continue communicating, but Janet, clearly, let's be honest, she's better than me. And I can accept that. I'm willing to accept that. And that's why we're going through her stuff, because it's such a gift. So I apologize, but I hope in these interjections, like I'm kind of ramping up the urgency and hopefully providing solution. I wish she was still here with us. I'd love to team up with her. I'd love to build more things out. So there's big shoes to fill. Help us fill her shoes together.
Even show the H1N1 virus, eerily similar to our future COVID-19 global enemy. Nobody realized what he had just proclaimed, except, of course, the adepts, the Cabal insiders.
I love that picture.
This stage had been set.
I don't know when it's going to cut out, but come on. There's the Cabal. Here's us. If we just realize, if we all stood up, look, game's over. Their game is over. We could see them imprisoned. We just, I know God will have perfect judgment. So ultimately, to see them out of their positions of power where they're continually playing their games on the backs of all of us, to end the needless suffering, that's what's up. That's what it's about. Golly, it even has a controller tapping into them. Interesting.
Then, 2 years before the official outbreak, in 2017, the World Bank used its WITS software to look into its crystal ball. And guess what they saw? They saw the COVID-19 pandemic 2 years into the future. And so, the World Bank decided it would be best for humanity and for the world as a whole to produce and distribute millions of COVID-19 test kits.
Of course.
That's right. A special test kit was invented to help fight a virus that didn't even exist just yet.
Of course.
My, what a gift! WITS produced an exports list per country for COVID-19 test kits.
Wow.
Product code 300215.
Look at that. 2018. Wayback Machine. It's the only way you can get it. COVID-19 test kits. Can't make this stuff up. United States export. Wow. Come on now.
Now, of course, our fact checkers deny anything and everything.
She just brought the evidence. Look at all the fact checkers. Once again, fact checkers didn't exist until truth started getting out. So the Cabal had to combat that.
Saying the export product wasn't COVID-19 test kits, but medical test kits. Well, that is only true after people started noticing and reporting the World Bank's rare ability to see into the future, which occurred in 2019. Product 300215 was quickly changed into medical test kits.
Wow.
Thank
Look at
you
that.
once again,
Look at that.
for bringing the truth back to us. And it happened again with a different product code, 902780.
COVID-19. Come on. Look at this. Look at the dates. This in and of itself, this shows you it was a scamdemic. It was planned. This shows you outcomes, everything, intent. Intent was harder to prove, but it is clear as day.
So, not a glitch in the software, but true paranormal abilities to predict the future, my friends. Or plain fraud. You decide. Oh, and it wasn't just test
You
kits.
decide.
It was also swab and viral transport medium sets. Product
Interesting.
code 382100. All the way back to 2017.
Wow.
This is the version of the World Bank. Category medical test kits. But using the Wayback Machine, category COVID-19 test kits.
Unbelievable.
The same happened in 2018. So, the fact checkers can scream bloody murder, but these are the facts. You can delete
Yes.
your inconvenient truths from the internet all you want, but they'll never disappear.
Oh, Janet, please pull up the picture. It seems because I've already seen a few people drop out just in this segment. Think about it. It's like that image of people lining up for inconvenient. Excuse me. How's it done? Convenient lies. That's the one with the long line, and then inconvenient truths. No one's in line. No one's in line. It's like I'm like watching it happen. It's unbelievable, but my hat is off to those that are sticking in there, hearing me, my rants, but also the heavy hitting truth bombs. She's just hitting out of the park.
One just needs to know how to find one's way in digital archives. This, dearest viewers, is the naked truth.
No.
Even though the name COVID-19 wasn't introduced by the WHO until February the 11th, 2020, it was already in use for years behind the scenes.
Right.
Full on, to prepare their wicked plandemic. That's right, not a pandemic, but a plandemic.
True.
Planned years in advance as the ultimate weapon to create a new world order. Do you want more evidence? Oh, don't worry, we'll supply it. Promise.
Oh, she's so good.
What else? Also in 2017, a complete guide was written called The Sparse Pandemic 2025-28, a futuristic scenario for public health risk communicators by the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. It described the complete picture of the planned COVID-19 pandemic. Seriously. Of course, it wasn't called COVID-19, but it was pretty darn close. They called it a novel coronavirus. What a funny coincidence that COVID-19 was actually called novel coronavirus during the first weeks of the outbreak. Oh, and it was a SARS, a severe acute respiratory syndrome. But in this fictitious, futuristic case, it was called SPARS, after the town of St. Paul, where the first outbreak of the disease occurred. How original. In all fairness, the Johns Hopkins Center had outdone themselves. In their futuristic guide, they had thought of everything. The main focus was on communication challenges, for instance concerning the development and rollout of a vaccine that had severe side effects. Every single detail had been worked out, including the vital role of the mainstream media and the use of social media. And of course, there were communication skills on how to deal with anti-vaxxers, how to overrule them, for instance, by means of commercials with VIPs.
Oh my gosh.
Movie stars promoting the vaccine.
Right.
Or by inventing an interview with an alleged anti-vaxxer whose child got infected.
You gotta pause and read everything. Everything she brings up is so powerful.
Be saved at the very last minute by the vaccine.
Oh my gosh.
Of course,
The
the
deceit.
manual was entirely fictional. Unreal, isn't it? 2017.
Unbelievable.
Everything was meticulously planned and brilliantly executed. Well done, Johns Hopkins Center. Or should we say, well done, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In
Rothschilds.
2019, once again before COVID-19 was ever mentioned, the Cabal played 3 little games with us by shamelessly showing what they had in mind for us. First, Netflix aired Pandemic, How to Prevent an Outbreak, a series about the development of a universal vaccine. Who was the main sponsor of this series? Bill Gates.
Wow.
Then, there were 2 carefully planned simulation exercises. one in Wuhan, of all places, and one in New York. In September, at Tianhe Airport, Wuhan, the infection of a passenger with the coronavirus was staged. 1 month later, Event 201, a global pandemic exercise, took place in New York, enacting the outbreak of, yet again, a coronavirus. It was a partnership of the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. A lot of emphasis during this exercise was put on the problem of disinformation about vaccines. Misinformation and disinformation are likely to be serious threats during a public health emergency. Unfortunately, thus far, there are limited ways to control the propagation of misinformation, leading to potentially draconian methods to manage this problem.
Wow. Powerful.
Everything was done on purpose. Unfortunately, the world wasn't paying attention just yet. It was in our face, but we had no idea what was about to unfold. Do you want to see what happened next, in a way it wasn't presented to you before? Then follow me to part 19.
I cannot wait. Folks, I appreciate you so much. In fact, I just started even browsing the Rothschild, oh my gosh, estates and properties. It is unbelievable. The divide. We can't even fathom. Some of these family names have accumulated trillions, just even in artwork. Like, come on. With priceless art and a 15... Am I saying that right? 15... Why is my brain not working? It's unbelievable. Look at this. It's money. It's a divide we can't even fathom. Okay? This room... There's more money in that room than our freaking average homes. So anyway, I want to end the cabal. I'm ready to go. Put me in. To end these evil individuals, these Satan freaking worshipers. You could look at the fruits of their labor. With the cabal tying into the LGB, the BLM, the freaking unnatural build out of my rights and preying on women to fall into that delusional thinking as though it's their right to murder babies, infants, lives being formed in the womb. That's unorganic. Everything Planned Parenthood, the grooming of children, it's all evil, and it all ties into these genocidal freaks, these demonic beings. There's all this symbolism that ties them directly into, Bohemian Grove and Davos and evil symbolism. Like, they literally are devil worshippers. It's crazy. Witches, witchcraft, they have active. You know what? You could go back. Janet exposes some. I even believe moving forward she'll expose some more. Isn't it such a blessing? She had such a gift. Her tone, her energy, her spirit, the way she could speak, the receipts she brings. Am I Like, what other series do you know of that better paints the picture as to why the world is the way it is other than this series? I have yet to find, to this day, a better singular source than this Fall of the Cabal by Janet and Cynthia. Thank you so much for continually showing up and supporting this series. It's been challenging, but it's been exciting. I'm grateful to have been diving back into this, because I don't want us to be lulled into a false sense of security just because we're getting some potential wins in this stage, this arena. There's a bigger arena worldwide with these globalists, with this cabal, far exceeds our political figures. And that's for darn sure. Okay. Let's all take a break. Let's shake that off. And it's so important we connect with our Creator to gain the clarity in the roles. Don't take my word for it. Pray on things where you're to engage, whether you're to bless this platform or another one with your time, energy, or financial blessing. That being said, Jesus is calling. Let's answer the call. It is November 13th, and today's read states, now I'm reading it as it's written. I'm not Christ. So read it or absorb it as though you're reading it. States, I am Christ in you, the hope and glory, the one who walks beside you, holding you by your hand, is the same one who lives within you. This is a deep, unfathomable mystery. Yeah, in our mortal state, it just blows my mind. You and I are intertwined in an intimacy involving every fiber of your being. The light of my presence shines within you if we choose to tap into that, as well as upon you. I am in you and you are in me, therefore nothing, I believe that's even in a scripture, therefore nothing in heaven or on earth can separate you from me. Let that comfort you. I know there's scriptural reference that touches on just that nothing in heaven or on earth can separate you from me. So even with all the biowarfare, that's why I was stating with working on that relationship, gaining that faith, that closeness, feeling God's love for me and all of us. It's like, yeah, my body could be knocking on death's door, but spiritually I'll never be. Because the devil, God will not allow the devil the power of completely diminishing or severing that tie to our loving Creator. Let that comfort you. As you sit quietly in my presence, your awareness of my life within you is heightened. This produces the joy of the Lord, which is your strength. I, the God of hope, fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in me, so that you may bubble over with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen. That's a great one. I'd only imagine that the 4 scriptures here would solidify this message for the day, so I challenge you to check them out. We have Colossians 1:27, Isaiah 42:6, Nehemiah 8:10, and Romans 15:13. I can't even express how frustrating it is. It's like I have the words, I have the thoughts, yet in my limited mortal being with this Lyme, and I'm not using it as an excuse I'm not lying. I'm going to freaking conquer this. I'm getting better. It's important that we have like positive talk more than the negative. There's just a part of all that is crucial, even in prayer. It's nice to pray to Jesus in Jesus' name, that not just praying for healing, thanking him for the healing that is occurring, that is undoubtedly taking place as I'm trying more and more each and every day to become a vessel for him and fulfill his will. Extreme comfort, extreme strength comes from that, and some clarity. But that being said, I do still have my challenges for whatever reason. And I just hope that ramps up somehow as I trip up over words. The sense of urgency, like, wow, I don't want those neurological issues for me or any of my family. So help us up awareness online, a true epidemic. Help us up awareness on all the other biological warfare taking place. It's so crucial that we seize this moment in time. Can't wait to continue the series. We're well over the 2-hour mark. My goodness. I'm so grateful for you guys hanging in there and continually showing up. So I look forward to our next one. I mean it. I love you. May our loving Creator God bless you this day. And until we meet again, until we continue, and until then, take care. I feel like saying something else. I wish I could give you guys a big hug. I appreciate you. As much as I'm trying to push to gain momentum, we've gained momentum. And I want to thank you for that. So let's freaking go. Let's double down. Let's triple down. Let's blow things up to see more, not just solutions, but actual results. That is a day I'm looking for. More results. Sign me up. Put me on those front lines. Gosh dang it. Put me up against these dang Rothschilds. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's take them down. Time to see the fall of the Cabal. With that, take care.